What happens when a beloved icon meets unstoppable controversy? You won't believe what unfolds when Cher sits down with Joy Behar on The View, only to find herself in the most explosive confrontation daytime television has witnessed in years. This isn't just another celebrity interview gone wrong. This is a full-blown war of words that ends with one of music's biggest legends storming off, said in disgust. Before we get into this incredible story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below because you're not going to believe what unfolds. The tension was palpable from the moment Cher walked onto the View set last night. What started as promotion for her latest project quickly devolved into a nightmare scenario that had producers scrambling and audiences gasping. Joy Behar, known for her controversial takes, seemed determined to push every possible button, and Cher, usually composed and diplomatic, was about to reach her breaking point in spectacular fashion. The trouble began almost immediately, when Joy launched into what appeared to be a carefully orchestrated attack disguised as casual conversation. "So Cher," Joy began with that familiar smirk, "you've been pretty vocal about politics lately. Some might say celebrities should stick to entertaining instead of lecturing the rest of us about how to think." Cher's eyebrows raised slightly, clearly caught off guard by the aggressive opening. "Well, Joy, I think everyone has a right to their opinion, including celebrities. We're citizens too." But Joy wasn't finished. She leaned forward with obvious relish, her voice dripping with condescension. "But don't you think it's a bit hypocritical? I mean, you've lived in your Hollywood bubble for decades. What could you possibly know about the struggles of everyday Americans?" The other co-hosts shifted uncomfortably in their seats, sensing the interview was veering into dangerous territory. Cher maintained her composure, but her jaw tightened visibly. "I grew up poor, Joy. I've worked since I was a teenager. I think I understand struggle just fine." Joy let out a dismissive laugh that seemed to echo through the studio. "Oh please, that was 50 years ago. You've been wealthy longer than most people have been alive. Your net worth is what, hundreds of millions? And you want to lecture us about inequality?" The audience began murmuring, sensing the hostility radiating from the host's table. Cher's famous diplomacy was being tested to its absolute limits. "I use my platform to support causes I believe in. I donate millions to charity. What exactly is your problem with that?" That's when Joy decided to cross the line that would seal her fate. Her expression turned cruel, and she delivered what could only be described as a calculated insult. "My problem is rich celebrities who think they're better than everyone else. You parade around in your designer clothes, getting plastic surgery to stay relevant, and then pretend you care about ordinary people. It's pathetic, really." The studio fell dead silent. Even the camera operators seemed to freeze. Cher's face went through a range of emotions: shock, hurt, and then something much more dangerous: pure anger. "Excuse me?" Cher's voice was low and controlled, but everyone could hear the fury building beneath the surface. Joy, apparently mistaking Cher's momentary silence for weakness, doubled down with vicious enthusiasm. "You heard me. You're a relic desperately clinging to relevance. At least be honest about it, instead of pretending to be some kind of political activist. Nobody takes you seriously anymore." What happened next would go down in television history. Cher slowly removed her earpiece, her movements deliberate and controlled. When she finally spoke, her voice carried decades of experience dealing with bullies and critics. "You know what, Joy? I've dealt with nasty people my entire career, but you're something special. You're sitting there attacking me personally, questioning my charity work, insulting my appearance, and for what? Because you need drama for your ratings?" Joy tried to interrupt, but Cher was just getting started. Her voice rose with righteous indignation. "I came here to talk about my work, not to be ambushed by someone who's clearly jealous and bitter. You want to talk about relevance? When's the last time anyone cared about anything you created, instead of just the controversy you stir up?" The other hosts looked mortified, clearly wanting to intervene but not knowing how. Joy's face had turned red, and she was sputtering, trying to regain control of the situation. "Now wait, just a minute," Joy began. But Cher cut her off with the kind of authority that comes from 5 decades in show business. "No, you wait. You think because you have a platform you can tear people down for entertainment? You think it's funny to mock someone's appearance and then question their sincerity about helping others? Joy, perhaps realizing she'd gone too far, attempted damage control. I was just asking legitimate questions about celebrity activism. Cher stood up abruptly, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. Legitimate questions? You called me pathetic and a relic. You mocked my charity work. That's not journalism. That's just mean-spirited bullying. The tension in the studio was so thick it was almost suffocating. Cameras continued rolling as one of entertainment's most beloved figures prepared to make television history. You know what the real problem is, Joy? Cher's voice was steady now, filled with the kind of dignity that comes from experience. You're so desperate for attention that you'll attack anyone to get it. Well, congratulations, you got your moment. I hope it was worth it. Joy made one last desperate attempt to salvage the situation. Cher, please, let's just calm down But Cher was already moving toward the edge of the set. She turned back one final time, her voice carrying across the silent studio with devastating clarity. I've been in this business longer than you've been alive, and I've never been treated with such blatant disrespect. This isn't journalism or entertainment. It's just ugly. With that, she unclipped her microphone and let it drop to the floor with an audible thud that seemed to reverberate through the stunned studio. The other co-hosts sat frozen, Joy's mouth hanging open in apparent shock at what she had unleashed. Cher walked off the set with the poise and dignity of someone who had nothing left to prove to anyone. The cameras captured her exit in stunning detail, straight-backed, head held high, leaving behind a host who had finally pushed too far, and an audience that had just witnessed something unprecedented. As the studio doors closed behind one of music's greatest legends, the silence that followed spoke volumes about what had just transpired. Joy Behar sat motionless, finally understanding that her quest for controversy had just cost her an interview with a living legend, and potentially much more.